Are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And, you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Mr. Kennedy, I believe for such a time as this that you're not just one of 300 million people. I think that you are the person to lead HHS to make America healthy again, that God has a divine purpose for you, and I look forward to your confirmation and working with you to make America healthy again.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Before we go to Lee.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, what do you want?
I love this guy. Mr. Chairman, I'm unlike Senator Tillis. I mean, if we're going to start this, I want an extra 3 minutes.
Well,
now, my friend Senator Klobuchar went 3 minutes over.
So, here what you're saying is the chairman wasn't a very good chairman by not shutting her up. But I've gone through this before, and I think I know how to handle it and get
I think you're a star-spangled awesome chairman. I just want to say that for the record. But if you're going to let somebody over there go 3 minutes over, I want my extra 3 minutes.
Well, let's see if it's abused by anybody else before we make that decision.
I'm just telling you, I'm going to abuse it.
Well, I'm not going to let you abuse it.
Once you hit that button, it goes out to the world. Poof, like magic. You can say whatever you want, and these idiots gobble it up.
A tweet could bring reassurance to Americans.
Democrat calls you out for anything, you can just deny it. It's called politics. They suck at it. They really do. Try a tweet.
My fellow Americans.
That's solo energy. Give me that. The Democrats will take your guns, and they'll kill your babies, and they'll destroy your suburbs. That's how you do it. Oh, look, Vince McMahon just retweeted it. Score. Let me go get a Diet Coke. You want anything?
A sarsaparilla.
The hell is that?
We need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Facts matter, Senator.
Yeah. I mean, conspiracy theorists are up something like 37-0.
You people in the West are living in an invisible prison, and you love it. Let me show you. The prison walls are your entertainment and video game screens, distracting you from real experiences. The prison meals are the fast food chains, keeping you hooked and weak with instant shallow gratification. The prison uniform are the fashion trends, erasing individuality in exchange for conformity. The prison yard are your social media platforms, where comparison and insecurities keep you in fear every fucking day. The prison work is your 9 to 5, giving you enough means to get by, but not enough to break out. The prison doctor is your doctor, who treats your symptoms and not the root issues of your sickness, and make good money with that, suka. The prison currency are your credits and loans, chaining you to the prisons forever in exchange for material comforts and fake status symbols. The prison handbook are the legacy media outlets dictating norms and shaping opinions. You don't like them. Why do you still watch them? The prison parole system are your retirement promises. They say you will be free, but just end up in another prison, the elderly home. The prison visitors are not your family members, because in modernity, families are so weak that these people won't even return your phone call. The prison gangs are your online communities. They seem to help you, but harm you. They are polarized groups and divide people into left and right. They pit you against each other, keeping you from unity and true understanding. And the prison guards, those who keep you from escaping, it is yourself, your own comfort, and your laziness. The good news is, it's all in your hand. The day you decide to be free and walk away from all this shit, you have escaped. A prison escape is never easy, and you will be hunted for a while. But it's worth it, and after a few weeks or months of being on the run, you will one day sit down, look at your son, and tell him of the biggest achievement in your life. We are free, son. We are free. Be honorable.
Student calls clear for runway 23.
We've got
This is Austin.
here
You're not even tracking the localizer. I need you to fly.
failure
Actually,
to
cancel first
communicate.
clearance. Climb and maintain 3,000.
Some
This is
men
all. 3,000 to the call.
just
Maintain
can't
3,000. Low altitude alert. Minimum
So,
vector
what we
altitude
had
area
here last
2,800.
which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. I don't like him any more than you think.
Look at your Look at your women crying. Look at your young men dying. The way they've always done before. Look at the hate we're breeding. Look at the fear we're feeding. Look at the lives we're leading. The way we've always done before. My hands are tied. The billions shift from side to side, and the wars go on with brainwashed pride for the love of God and our human rights. And all these things are swept aside by bloody hands. Time can't deny it, and are washed away by a genocide. And history hides the lies of our civil war. To wear a black armband when they shot the man who said peace could last forever. And in my first memories, they shot Kennedy. I went numb when I learned to see, so I never fell for Vietnam. We got the wall of disease to remind us all that you can't trust freedom when it's not in your hands. When everybody's fighting for the promised land. I don't need a civil war. It feeds the rich while it buries the poor. The power hungry selling soldiers in a human grocery store ain't that bread. I don't need a civil war. No. Look at the shoes you're filling. Look at the blood we're spilling. Look at the world we're killing. The way we've always done before. Look in the dark we followed. Look at the leaders we followed. Look at the lies we've swallowed. And I don't wanna hear no more. My hands are tied. For all I've What's so civil about war anyway?
Did you say that the FBI headquarters should be shut down and reopened as a museum of the deep state?
Mr. Chairman, are we allowed to go an extra time?
Let's see. You get a second round. Before I call on Senator Lee.
Could he just answer the question if he said that the FBI headquarters, where they investigate cybercrime and terrorism, should be shut down and opened as a deep state?
Hey, Mr. Chair.
As a museum. Did he say that the headquarters should be shut down?
Mr. Chair.
I deserve an answer to that question. He is asking to be head of the FBI, and he said that their headquarters should be shut down.
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry.
You got anything you want to say, Mr. Patel, before I go on to Senator Lee?
Simply this. If the best attacks on me are going to be false accusations and grotesque mischaracterizations, the only thing this body is doing is defeating the credibility of the men and women at the FBI. I stood with them here in this country. In every theater of war we have, I was on the ground in service of this nation. And any accusations leveled against me that I would somehow put political bias before the Constitution are grotesquely unfair. And I will have you reminded that I have been endorsed by over 300,000 law enforcement officers to become the next director of the FBI. Let's ask them.
Mr. Chairman, I am quoting...
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? It's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no,
and protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money
contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the
not a nickel from corporate
Bernie,
tax.
you were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in the industry.
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but
you've offered over 2 million federal workers the option to resign immediately. There are 50,000 FAA employees. Does this tragedy give you reason to reconsider that option of resignations because of concerns about staffing issues on airline safety?
If people aren't coming to work, if they're not going to come into the office and report as per the date that you know what it is, everybody knows what the date is, it's been very well documented, then they're going to be terminated.
You're not concerned, though, that if many people take that offer, there could be shortages that could lead to
then
safety
they'll be
issues.
replaced with very competent people. We have a lot of competent people in this country.
Make sure Jesus Christ is in your life, because Jesus Christ. Dude, shut up, man. I'm on the phone, dude. I don't want to hear this. It's for real. It's okay. For real, man. What the heck is wrong, dude? It's okay. I'm sorry. Make sure God is in your life, Savior of everybody. Have God in your life. If you don't have God in your life, look for God. He's here for you with open arms. He doesn't judge. Dude, shut up. Nobody believes. Don't bring your religion, your cult right here. I'm on the important call. It's okay. You get on your call. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. God bless you. Do not touch me. Jesus Christ is in your life. I don't believe. The power of Jesus Christ. I don't care. Whatever. I don't believe. I don't believe. God loves all his children. Shut up. You are blessed. You are loved by God. Shut up. You are loved by God. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I say shut up. Come on, man. Come on. God loves you. You blessed me here on this cheek. Bless me on this cheek. Bless me right here. God believes in you. God knows that you're a good man. I don't know what happened in your life, that you don't have God in your life, but you need to put God back in your life. I've been put here for a reason, and it's for you. That's why, right? Don't be sorry. Bring God into your life. Can we do that? Guys, can we come over here and pray over him, please? Come on over here. Come over here, guys. Don't be sorry, right? God is in your life, yeah?
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. You're so kind.
This letter that you got from JFK, August 19th, July 19th, 99. Your father passed away when?
Right.
In July?
JFK Jr., that's exactly correct. He just
I mean, it must have been one of the last things he did. He was a great guy. He was a friend of mine. Dear Donald,
Slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future.
he never lost his perspective. My condolences to you and your family. Sincerely, John Kennedy. This was a tragedy that he died because he had so much going. He was a fabulous guy. I mean, he was really, truly a handsome, wonderful, great, bright guy. Is that line correct?
Who don't have enough to eat, shoe the children with no shoes on their feet. How's the people living in the street? Oh, there's a solution. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. Right through the revolution. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. Right through the revolution. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future.
Welcome, Patriots. Happy Friday night. It is Friday night after all, right? Right? I guess that depends on where you live, but it's mostly Friday night, so that's good stuff. Let's jump into some of these stories today, and we'll talk a little bit about the plane crash a little, because it's still on everybody's mind. There's all kinds of new weird stuff going around with it. So Trump posts this: the idea that the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We're going to require commitment from these seemingly hostile countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. So I thought that was kind of weird, because this other article from the day says no plans for BRICS currency. So I don't know. What's the real story there with Trump and the BRICS currency stuff? Doug Burgum was confirmed as the 55th Secretary of the Interior. That's good. The other guys are still kind of battling their confirmations today. I think we looked at this yesterday. Space Operations Command's leadership announced the organization's updated motto, Semper Venator, on the 27th, meaning always the hunter. Pretty cool, huh? I think we did look at that yesterday, though. So, Donald Trump Jr. floats the idea of reopening Alcatraz. Trump was talking about this, too. And it connects to this weird story that's kind of getting floated around with San Francisco and Child Protective Services and This Yellow Brick Road stuff, dead children, sacrifices, Bohemian Grove, Nancy Pelosi. It sounds like a pretty deep story, really. And it comes at the same time that they're talking about reopening Alcatraz, which might be a good idea, really. The FAA turned away qualified air traffic controllers based solely on race. That would be white people. It's darn white people. That was from last year, about this time last year. I suppose it comes around, huh? Although, there's more to it than just traffic control. We'll look at that in a little bit. The condition of the planes you're flying in looks pretty bad, to say the least. This was on Nino's page about Jeremy Brown and still being stuck in the prison system despite Trump's pardon, which is pretty messed up, really. But you would think Trump's people would take a look at it, and I'm sure they will, right? To be seen. I'm sure they will. My other channel gets unsuspended tomorrow, so it's got a little bit more pull than this channel. Not much, but you guys should make sure you subscribe to it, because there's a good chance I'll broadcast on that channel tomorrow rather than this one. I haven't fully made up my mind, but probably will. So I was considering making it so your ID card would have to display your citizenship status. What do you guys think of that? I mean, on the one hand, it seems completely unnecessary. Like, you should, if you have an ID card, kind of be a citizen anyway. They could, do a better job at just making sure they give IDs to real people, but there's this too, I guess. Didn't you like that at KamalaHarris.com that they switched it to... You gotta admit there's a lot of fuckery going on, guys. It's kind of funny on the one hand, not so funny on the other hand. A little daunting maybe, but this page, at least, has been unburdened by what has been. Sooner or later, I hope we are too. And I think the day's getting there. Since Chuck Grassley brought up the whole QAnon thing with Kash Patel, they wanted to remind you that, you're supposed to trust Grassley and that there is no actual QAnon. Thought I'd point that out if you've been watching the confirmations. The interview with FBI's Michael Gaeta, central to Russiagate among 53 transcripts slated for release. This, I think, is coming out with, along with other things. It's getting to a point where it's going to be really hard to keep track of all this stuff. So that airplane last night, apparently it landed 50 minutes before the crash. So somebody asked the question, are we being 9/11'd? Was the whole thing just like a holographic projection? Just distract us from something? Or to maybe help, soften the blow for 9/11 disclosure stuff that could come out? I don't know. I don't know, but that's not the only weird thing going on around the crash, aside from it supposedly landing before it ever crashed. But the pilot that they keep talking about, the DEI pilot of the Black Hawk helicopter, she's not dead.
Interesting morning. This is Joe Ellis. I am a Black Hawk pilot with the Virginia Army National Guard. I understand some people have associated me with the crash in D.C., and that is false. It is insulting to the families to try to tie this to some sort of political agenda. They don't deserve that. I don't deserve this. And I hope that you all know that I'm alive and well, and this should be to end all the rumors. I also have a statement. The Department of Defense is responsible for casualty notifications. There were no Virginia National Guard personnel on that Black Hawk that collided with the jetliner Wednesday evening. Thank you.
Definitely a dude. Let's get that out of the way first. The elephant in the room. Still a live dude. Number 2. Interesting. That's the thinker there, isn't it? Obviously, it really didn't look like anyone was on the thing anyway, because it looked pretty intentional. Was it holographic? I don't know about that, but a targeted crash, that I would say seems more likely. So hopefully nobody died, but I don't know. We will look into it more. We're going to look into it a little deeper here shortly. So those Soros-funded radio stations, they are exposing the locations of undercover ICE agents. This guy's he's a real prick, isn't he? You know, but we kind of knew that was a bad idea, giving him all those radio stations. The power over all those radio stations, that consolidated power. You think your radio stations are like spread out by city or something. It's just there's little media groups that own tons of radio stations. I was having fun watching some TV radio. We used to have the Bob and Tom show here in the Midwest every morning, and I was listening to some of that. The Bank of England has defaulted, supposedly, this from a day or two ago. I don't know what's going on with the money stuff. I gotta admit, I'm getting a little lazy on that. Just a little bit, guys. And sorry to say, if you're a federal employee and you're just watching this now and you're like about to do this, you're seven minutes late. Trump wanted them to, you're probably an hour and 7 minutes because that's probably Eastern time, but had to remove all your pronouns from your email signatures. Oh man, that's a thing. That's something we really have to worry about in this day and age, huh? Federal prosecutors have issued a new criminal indictment against the diddler for sex trafficking multiple women. He's kind of racking up the charges, isn't he? I think we knew that was part of it, but that goes back 20 years to Arizona lawmakers are now investigating illegitimate Governor Katie Hobbs after $339 million disappeared. Hobbs' budget director also mysteriously resigned yesterday. What's going on, Arizona? What the hell? She swiped some of your money. Not very cool, huh? Not cool. So maybe this atmospheric river heading for the west coast, maybe that's on its way to put out all those fires, maybe, I don't know. A thought. Freedom Day Delta and this opinion op-ed is the cure to male loneliness, starting a private military company with your friends. What do you think, guys? Is that the cure to male loneliness? Should we start up a private military company? I'm game. I think some of the ladies would probably like to come too, though, so we might have to Might have to open that up a little bit. Freedom! We need help in identifying these individuals. From the night of November 30th, a large group shut down an intersection of roadway used for driving and performed donuts. It's actually a lot worse looking than it sounds. Let's check out the video. Sure, if you start turning yourselves in now, children, maybe they won't go so hard on you. Maybe. Depends on what you did. There you go, Floridians of Orange County. Those dudes are wanted. That is some pretty some messed up shit, guys. Come on. That's not the kind of donuts you should be doing. There was a baby in the car. Everything hinges on Kash Patel getting confirmed. If America is going to be saved from the communists that almost destroyed us, Kash must be the FBI director. It's a line in the sand moment. That's very true. But I think he'll get confirmed nonetheless. Ukrainian media outlet leaks alleged Trump plan to end the war within 100 days. I think he can do it in less than that. Chuck Todd is quitting NBC. He's taking his Chuck Toddcast with him. Might have something to do with CNN and MSNBC reporting the worst ratings month ever in key demographic, while Fox News enjoys its best. Yeah, nobody's watching any of them, frankly, are they? Loud and proud January 6th rioter, pardoned by Trump, has no regrets about sitting at the bitch Nancy Pelosi's desk. No regrets. It only got him locked up for how many years? 4? Something like that. I'd probably have some regrets. A few. It's been proven that Prince Andrew messaged Jeffrey Epstein 2 months after he said that he stopped contact with the freak. I don't know what you'd call Jeffrey Epstein. So, go arrest him. Somebody. I don't know who he lied to, frankly, but go figure. Microsoft is cracking down on low-performing workers and firing some without severance. So there's actually some layoffs at Microsoft. And it goes right out there with Google laying off people. I don't know what this is a weird story. Something bad is brewing inside Google. It's the Google office with dark, red, scary clouds looming behind it. Yes, it is. Google needs to go down anyway, don't you think? Italy joins the people in countries blocking Chinese AI app DeepSeek, while on the other hand, our very own Pentagon is still using it. Go figure. Go figure. Go figure. Some people believe that they've confirmed Jack the Ripper's identity. This is the U.S. Sun, by the way. His DNA found on a 100-year-old shawl. I don't know about all that, but then the secret archive is kind of interesting. A Freemason, a protected Masonic ritualistic murderer, I think was how that article called it. I don't know. Thought I'd throw that in there. It's a Friday. FBI is still stalling and refusing to turn over the Seth Richard records. This is exactly why we need Kash Patel. And it probably would bring down the Democratic Party because they were behind his assassination. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, we're coming for you. A gigantic 500,000-mile hole in the sun's atmosphere aims aurora-sparking solar wind at Earth. Might see some vibrant auroras tonight. That's a hell of a hole, I gotta say. Can you see that hole there? That's pretty messed up. What's going on with the sun, guys? It's active. Richard Williamson, the Catholic bishop whose denial of the Holocaust embarrassed Pope Benedict XVI, dies. German jobless rates rise, manufacturing layoffs gather steam, and in Illinois, they say Springfield's the cause of mass layoffs. Yeah, I think outsourcing probably had something to do with it too. I'm just saying, since I live here in Illinois. All right, so these airplanes you're flying around in, there's all these crashes and bad stuff happening, and they're pointing out all the DEI stuff and the stupidity of hiring people that can barely move around to do these jobs, and you're all thinking traffic, air control, but what about, like, working on your planes and fixing your planes and, I don't know, small stuff. They compromise, but let's check out the video.
MAX 9s are still grounded after a sudden gaping hole ripped through the side of an Alaska Airlines flight. And at least airlines are already reporting that they found loose parts and bolts in the same door panels. And as more details emerge, it's worth asking two questions. How bad could this have really been? And where the heck is Pete Buttigieg? Joining me now, retired Air Force and United Airlines pilot Scott Patillo and Horace Cooper, chair of Project 21. Scott, take that first question. People are saying, oh, all's well that ends well. Well, that's true, but how bad could this have been?
Laura, it could have been much worse than it was. We got very, very lucky with this particular incident that the door came off at 16,000 feet. Had it been a cruise up in the mid-30s, it would have been an explosive decompression. Flight attendants would have been out of their seats. Passengers would have been unbuckled. And it would have ended very, very badly for anybody that was up and about in that airplane. And
does that mean people would have been sucked out of the plane because of the depressurization if you hadn't been buckled in?
Highly possible. Up in 38,000 feet with the pressure differential. If you were anywhere near that, anywhere near one of those seats and you weren't buckled in, there's a high probability you could have been extracted from the aircraft. That is correct.
Horace, we hear this story, and they're still looking for some of the bolts, we understand, that they can't find. But Boeing, they have the doors are falling off the planes, but at least, they're meeting their diversity goals, I guess, in Boeing, because they say our goal was to achieve diverse interview slates for at least 90% of managers and executives in their openings, and they brag that they exceeded that target with 92% of interview slates being diverse, resulting in 47% diverse hires at the management and executive levels. Now, Horace, we can't link the diversity efforts to what happened, and that would take an exhaustive investigation. But it's worth asking at this point: is excellence what we need in airline operation, or is diversity the goal here?
In my latest book, I mention this dalliance with DEI, this idea that diversity is more important than a meritocracy. I titled the chapter DIE because this can kill. When I was a kid, we asked this question about whether or not you wanted your cardiologist.
You would think that they would still hire qualified people, but apparently that's not the case. And of course, people were asking about the plane. Was it on purpose? Let's take a look. Then I've got some other videos.
Now, I can't tell you that the helicopter aimed for the plane. I don't know that. But I do have common sense. And common sense will tell you nothing adds up here. This is where it gets bad. You see the zigzags here that to me don't make a lot of sense. It goes from 800 feet at 42 minutes past the hour and 47 seconds. And in about 30 seconds, it will drop to that 400 feet level. This is the most troubling of all. Now they're going to ask the helicopter to return to base.
Go route 3000, Blue Streak 5347. Blackjack 3, can you return to base?
No answer.
Blackjack 3, proceed directly to Glebe. I need you to land. I need you to land immediately. Can you go to Dulles for a few minutes?
It's not saying climb altitude to avoid the plane. It's not saying do you see the plane. It's saying return to base. It is not normal for a Black Hawk helicopter and the pilot to be told, I need you to return to base. There's no way a helicopter is not going to see that plane.
Personally, I'm still waiting to see who's actually on the plane. If there was a plane, I guess maybe that's the question now. if that's what some people are saying. But we're going to take a look at this clip people are passing around from the show Monkey Works. I've never heard of this show, but it has to do with the planes. So let's check it out.
These rings that you see that look like a fence that go around, that's just the TFR that's over the DC area. Now, notice this is PAT 25. Note the call sign, Priority Air Transport. It originated, what looks like out of Langley, okay, that's CIA, okay? And then you'll see it, it's going to flash a couple times as it comes across, but you're going to see it start to come into kind of that tighter circle. It's following the Potomac, okay? Now, when you get a little bit further up and we start to approach the crash area, what I want you to note is, note the heading as to where this thing is flying, okay? As it flies, it follows the Potomac. Now, keep in mind, if you've ever flown into Washington, D.C., typically they do follow the Potomac, and that's their runway approach. Today, it was coming in off of runway 33, which is coming across the Potomac. So traffic would be coming across this area, all right? Now, you notice that it is flying along the Potomac. Again, normal, but you're getting close to a Class B airport, which means major traffic coming in, okay? As this thing comes across and you've got traffic that is heading across the Potomac to land, right? I want you to notice, this is the thing that caught my eye the mainly, all right? The heading that this Black Hawk is coming in would be looking directly at an airplane that is approaching the runway, okay? So note that. He's going to see it. This aircraft that's coming in has got landing gear lights on, everything. It's on final approach. So gear down, flaps down. Airspeed is probably around 165 miles an hour for a CR J700, right, on final. So this thing's coming in. He certainly has to see this, right? Because notice the heading as it's coming in, right? You've got one aircraft taking off that banks left, right? And he's still heading down that Potomac side, right? Again, note the heading. He's looking directly at this aircraft coming into his sight. This is where I think this gets very suspect. That right there is your American airline aircraft on final approach, getting ready to land, coming across the Potomac, all right, coming in from the other direction, and then bang, we've got contact. But notice, right, this wasn't, it came in from the side and they couldn't see each other. At first, I thought, well, maybe they had a blind spot, all right? Now, listen to this audio, and this will also kind of paint the story for you. This guy is non-responsive, all right?
Pass 2 spot, pass 1 is George.
American 4782 by Baton, now for individual.
American 472, Washington, 1 star, 32017.
This is Win.
Where's the alert 3?
It is off the approach end of runway 33. Approach end of runway 33. Helicopter crash.
Helicopter.
Yes, copies. I was reporting a CRJ and a helicopter crash to Potomac River.
Can we go ahead and hold all operations till we have emergency units respond? We're going to go ahead and show the air.
Okay, now I'm going to take you back over the Mini just so you're looking at this, all right? I think this is an important topic, an important point to all of this. So at the very beginning of the audio, you hear them talk basically asking if, talking to Pat 25, do you see the CRJ? Telling that aircraft or that helicopter to pass behind the aircraft as it's coming in. So that Black Hawk should have kind of banked a little bit left and put him off the head-on course with this aircraft. This is why it's suspect. These are top-notch pilots, right? When you start talking about the Black Hawk and the ones that fly the Pat aircraft, let me just take you, first and foremost, this is the website that is the Joint Task National Capital Regions, U.S. Army Military District of Washington. This is where they operate out of, all right? Now, there is nothing from them in terms of press release. They have not said a word. Why? Typically, you would at least post something. We, hearts and, thoughts go out to the family and prayers, right, et cetera. There'd be something, even if it was informal as we conduct an investigation, whatever it may be. No press release from them, okay? Zero. Now, this helicopter is actually what they call the gold top, all right? You can see the gold top right here. This is, they are mainly flying, right, high-level military officials and or like congressmen, senators, DOD, top-level execs. The fact it came out of Langley, the fact that this would have been a gold top because it was a Pat 25 call sign, they could have been in a regular Black Hawk, but the ones that operate out of this it's called the gold top for a reason, because they are carrying some, and it's why they have the priority air transport call sign, all right? Not just a regular UH-60 or any other military call sign. It's the priority air transport, all right? So this would be what operates out of that location. Zero press releases. Very, very unusual. And again, you can see, just kind of go through, you can see some of the helo stuff in here with the H-60s. But yeah, not good. Nothing. Crickets coming out of them. Right? So that part to me is very suspect. The fact that it was on a heading that he should have been able to see them coming in for a landing, you don't miss that, especially if you're at the same altitude and everything. You're looking right at them. Almost makes you wonder if they didn't deliberately fly into that that aircraft. Then the other piece too that I have questions on would be why do they not make a press statement? Who was on board? It said 3 soldiers, but they haven't really indicated if there was anybody else on. I keep hearing it was just a training op. Could have been. But something just doesn't sit right with all of this, right? And oh, by the way, the police department is now saying on the recovery aspect, FAA and TSB, I had originally heard there were 4 people that were pulled that were taken to the hospital, but I'm hearing there were 0 survivors out of 64 souls on that CRJ. Straight up horrific. Cannot imagine what that would have been like. So again, this is number 2. Always happens in 3s. So keep our eyes peeled. All right.
All right. So that is Monkey Works. It's a pretty good show. Where did it say to follow?
These rings that
I didn't catch. Patreon, Monkey Works. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's on Rumble or where. Pretty good show, though. We'll have to check it out in the future. Tonight we are going to see what Michael Jaco has to say about the wreck. But before that, I wanted to watch this clip that keeps getting pushed around from Juan O'Sullivan just talking about Guantanamo. So it's about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll move on to Jaco.
Couple things. You know, George Bush, too, the son, he is the one that got Guantanamo going after 9/11 under this Patriot Act stuff and really ramped it up. But did you remember, very few people do, that towards the end of his presidency, before he handed the reins over to Obama, he wanted to shut it down and was talking against Guantanamo, and we got to shut it down, and talking to all of his buddies, we got to put an end to this. And Cheney wanted to shut down Guantanamo, yet it didn't get shut down. Obama issued an executive order, which you're now referring to, and he couldn't shut it down. And I've been saying all along, you know, even before Trump became president in 2017, that if any of these people were actually in control, fully in control, which is a nuance that you got to add in there, that they would have shut it down a long time ago, because they know that it's open for them, and it's actually been expanded, improved. You've got a hospital that was built there, cost $100 million, and it's set up to handle geriatric patients. So, and they spent another $100 million getting it outfitted. So these people haven't been able to stop any of that. And I've taunted back as when Pelosi was in office, prove to us that you're in control. Biden, prove to us that you're in control by just shutting down Guantanamo. You know, you got all those, you got red-blooded American guys that have seen all the monster truck movies and TV shows and competitions that would just love to take all of that equipment down there, the construction equipment, some of the off-road vehicles, and start running things down, mowing them over, knocking them over. They'd have a great time. It'd be all gone in a day. And they haven't had one thing get broken, shut down, moved, twisted. In fact, it's just continued to be expanded the whole time. You've got a area to the side of Guantanamo where concrete piering has been poured and put in place and secured, and you can take all of the FEMA barges. There's about a half a dozen of them that we'd want to send down there, and we have extra space even for a couple more. They've created piering where they'll sink them in place and park. They can handle a Cat 5 hurricane and hold tens of thousands of prisoners, not just on the facility, but in those piers right next to it. And then you've got a Marine aircraft carrier that's set up and operated out of there, which can handle the Ospreys. And the Ospreys are in range up to South Carolina to come back and forth, no refueling in the air, one jump, and land right there besides the regular airport. We've built that facility out for a reason. And there are other similar facilities. Most people know Gitmo because it's been referred to for quite a while, but there's actually about a dozen primary facilities that can operate in the same way. And in fact, we know that there's within the intelligence community, and I've talked about this a bit since last September, to the present, I had somebody that is personally known to me who I spoke with his spouse because I hadn't heard from this person for a couple of months, and we normally talk regularly, and I actually went out of my way to go drop in on him in West Virginia and make sure everything was good to go, and talked with the spouse. He said, no, she's on the tribunal. And I said, where? He said, well, of course, can't tell you that. And I clicked in my mind, and went, oh, okay. So, but she came out of the intelligence community. Now I know of three more persons in the intelligence community that are sitting on tribunals. They've come out of retirement, but they have subject matter expertise and clearances that they're probably sitting on tribunals that are aimed at operators that have certain types of access or materials that were in their history that being tried. Now, what'll happen? They'll probably have convictions on a number of those, and then those people will get a chance. They haven't been sentenced necessarily, and they'll get a chance to then testify in other tribunals or settings, and that may have some effect on their what they end up getting for total time, and or other stuff. Maybe it's life instead of death. But those are real. They're not the stuff that you're ever going to hear about in the public press because they're within a different category. The arrests that are coming will transition into some of the business relations, people that have done traitorous stuff from maybe outside the country, or business people, etc., and then moving towards the insiders, military, and public office, and that transition, it's getting all of the data in a situation where it can be used and progress the overall story, and just so that people know, when we get to the public officials, those tribunals will be public. And the reason they have to be public is because you will not cure the disease. You won't. Part of the fix is to actually know what they did in these public positions to betray the American people and the world with and to put us in this hair-raising moment. So I hope that was concise but long enough.
All right, so that was Juan's message on Guantanamo Bay. That was from a while back, but it's, still very poignant today. Now I'm going to pull up Jaco. Still not a lot out, to be honest with you guys, lately. Maybe everyone's been busy doing something else. Maybe that's a good thing. Alright. Bring up the link.
Veterinarians don't want dog owners to see this. Bizarre method that can add up to 20 years to your dog.
Say goodbye to old costly cable TV once and for all. This revolutionary invention gives you access to your favorite channel.
Seeing the crash of the helicopter and the plane, but I'm going to run through a lot of that in this show. I'm going to set the stage, if you will, and pretty much run down through a bunch of this stuff. I'll look over to my X account, since I've started putting a lot of stuff over there. Started earlier this morning, about 9 hours ago. Michael Jaco 9 is my X account. If you want to follow along or join me over there. So in the presentation, you guys are going to see all the different things I've been looking at and piecing this together. So my thoughts are this is a false flag, and we'll just go through all the different things. So I look at this video looks like a kamikaze attack to me. Now, how did they get into the helo and control the helo? We will talk about that as we move forward. But I believe that somehow they overcame the crew. Maybe the crew had on their helmets as usual. I don't know if they have a boom mic on. Not usually you're during nighttime you're running with MDGs, whether they have MDGs or not. depending on what training mission it was. Probably at some point, maybe they'll bring all that information out. We also don't know if they had masks on. So if they're going up to altitude, depending on the training mission, they would have on masks, which would give them O2. And this could have been how they possibly would have been gassed and made unconscious, if that's the case. Now, it definitely looks like the helicopter just drove straight into the aircraft. And we'll listen to a clip that I have on the audio. And at the last second, you can hear the people on the tower talking to the helicopter and telling them to turn, but they never respond. So at what point was the last conversation with that crew? That would be very informative in determining whether that crew was basically made immobile or unconscious, or what may have happened. Right? Maybe one person because they've only recovered one of the crew. There were 3 of them, according to the flight logs, I guess. Did one of them maybe kill the other 2 and then jump out into the water? So it would definitely have to have a thermal dry suit on or something like that. So, there's lots of different ways this could have been done. We've seen the movies. We see how this stuff is done. Were all 3 of them taken out? Was it really just an accident? I think, and you guys, when you hear all the things that I'm going to go over, you're not going to believe this is an accident. All right, this is intentional. All right. So I'd say it looks like a kamikaze attack. Let's just look at the video of this. So you see it right here coming in. And it goes in at a very, very fast clip, and boom. And then you see the pieces falling from the sky. Now, when I first came in the Navy, I was a hard hat diver. I went through hard hat dive school, and I was in Anacostia, DC. So just outside of the Capitol on the Anacostia River, which feeds into, I believe it feeds into the Potomac. But that's very, it's always cold. Potomac's always cold. You can't, with our helmets, I dove the Mark V, which was that big spun copper helmet that you guys seen in all the old movies. We still had that when I first came to the Navy. And then they transitioned to a more high-speed Mark V. But the old Bell helmet, basically, I remember going down and doing projects because you had to take off cotter dams and so forth, and use tools and take them off. You had to take the screws off, control the screws, and put them in a pouch, and then take off an O-ring and replace it, and then put everything back on. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was extremely murky. So, hats off to those guys that are doing the search for the bodies right now. It's extremely cold weather. It's probably just barely above freezing because they've had really cold temperatures up there in the Northeast for several months. And who knows, maybe some of that water is already frozen. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen it. But doing the search, because it's murky like that, you have to go down to the bottom usually, and then have a pattern. You have a rope, you have an anchor, or maybe somebody that's with you, and usually someone's with you. And then you go around in a circle, and then you go a little bit further out on the rope, and then you go around in the circle looking for bodies. You find a body, you bring it to the surface. So maybe some of those bodies sank to the bottom, possibly. Maybe they're intertwined in wreckage. It must have been a horrible death for all those people. When the helicopter hit it, you see the explosion. So the explosion ripped through the aircraft and probably killed most of the people. Those that survived on impact with the water, I think it's around 300 feet. Is what they said. So from 300 feet, that's a long drop especially in probably a mangled aircraft, both of those aircraft. And I would say that probably from the explosion, the helicopter took the brunt of it, and it's completely destroyed. You know, and that's probably why they're having problems finding the other two crew members of the helicopter. If, like I said, all three of them actually died on the helicopter. So, and then, you know, the people that, you know, made impact with the water, that would have been very, a fiery crash, impact with the water. And if you ever jumped in cold water, your immediate response is inhale. So imagine hitting that freezing cold water and your body does the automatic response and it inhales and you take in water. And you'd cough, but you're trapped maybe in your seatbelt or whatever, if you're still alive, and it would have been another, you know, horrible death for the people that were drowned. So very, very tragic. When President Trump talked about it, he had a moment of silence. So I thought that was very appropriate. Of course, then he does perfect, I think, and we'll talk about some of that. So this person says, how does one of the most advanced military helicopters in the world crash directly into a plane with clear conditions? I could understand it if it was foggy, heavily snowing, or a rainstorm, but it's a clear night. The Black Hawk flies directly into the American Airlines flight. So again, if they are on night vision goggles picks up low light. So that aircraft would have had, and it did have, it had on, you know, the lights that it turns on as it comes into land for landing. So it would have been extremely bright to someone with night vision. It would stand out. There would be no way you could miss it. Now, in the other case, if they're coming at a different angle, it looks like they're coming straight into it, but we'll see it in the actual flight. I'm going to show you guys, you know, the basically the radar image, and then the conversation that was had. So let me pull that up. I'm going to exit out of this screen and then pull up the actual audio. So here's the audio as I'm presenting it right now.
Did you know that if you suffer a fall, you have over 30% chance of dying within a year? That's why Americans are rushing to buy these revolutionary.
I'm going to play. It's already in right now. Now, you see where I'm circling. That is the healer right here. All right, you see that little blue line, the little, you know, dots, and then the blue line, the dots and the blue line. This is the, you know, how the approach of these aircraft are. So this is an aircraft that's in front of the one that actually gets hit. This one back here is the one that actually gets hit. So it almost looks like this helicopter is avoiding the flight path. So let's watch this a little bit.
American 3130 with your runway 1. American 3131, confirm 1 stars, 31314, so 25, obey 16 land, check for the bar, make bar Bravo. Okay, so land runway 1, American 3130.
So you can hear this aircraft right here is cleared for runway 1. And then the aircraft behind it is, I guess they were going to hit runway 1, but they switched them to runway 33. So look how the helicopter actually looks like it's avoiding this aircraft. So if there were actually people on board that were watching, and I'll give you a heads up right now, I'm going to show you a video, but these helicopters can be remotely controlled. And they actually did a remote control demonstration in Washington, D.C. just months prior to this. So as you see, the helicopter is actually seems like it's avoiding the non-target. aircraft?
79 contact so far today. Okay. American 7130 close the funnel. Thank you.
So as you can hear, this aircraft is at final. As you see, it sped up and it just basically goes right by the helicopter. The helicopter seems like it moves out of the way.
CRJ at 1,000 feet, starts on way 33.
So as you see, they're identifying it right now as a helo. And here comes the next flight. And they just says tower runway 1, line up and wait. American 1630. Then traffic's 2 out for runway 33. So I guess this is traffic 2, and they're switching them to runway 2 or 33.
American 1630 tower runway 1 off Woodchester up for runway 33. Just check on this off funnel. People are not November transport of the day.
All right, as you see now, it almost looks like the helicopter is maybe even picking up speed and making for a collision course with this next aircraft.
1631 star 32014 plus 25 72 mile elevation way 33. No delay from a 1 for B takeoff. Number 1, push and takeoff. American 1630.
All right, so for whatever reason, this air traffic controller should be like, really, getting everybody's attention right here, that it looks like they're on collision. They're on course for collision because they're at the same altitude around this time frame. Now you're going to see or hear and see that the people in the aircraft are like, oh shit, oh, and they didn't get oh god before they blew up.
Watch how coconut oil affects belly fat. Is coconut oil a superfood or unhealthy?
All right, so Pat 25 is a helo. The tower is asking, do you have the CRJ in sight, the approaching aircraft? So they're trying to get hold of Pat 25, but there's no response. And then they're just assuming that, of course, you're going to have a visual, so pass behind CRJ. And that doesn't happen. All right, so here you're going to see the actual crash, and then you're going to see the radar image basically go blank, and you're going to, and at almost simultaneously, you're going to see, oh God. So, but he doesn't say, oh God. So, oh my, and that's it. So here's the crash, and you're seeing the crash right there. So somebody said, oh, they just went, like they just disappeared. Or they just went into the drink. Did you see that? All right, so that's the actual audio and the radar image as they would have seen it, from the tower, right? So President Trump obviously had access to this, and he made comments about this at his press conference, and he was. How is it that this how could they not see this aircraft. They of course they would. I've been in these Blackhawks hundreds of times. I've been in combat operations in Panama, where the pilots have nods on. I've jumped out of these at high altitudes where everybody has oxygen on. So I've been in all kinds of different configurations of the Blackhawk. Now, when I was in not Panama, but in Pakistan, and we located Osama bin Laden, they came in with the stealth Blackhawk, as you guys saw probably from the pictures, and that stealth Blackhawk, I'm sure had probably the same configuration as you saw in that Blackhawk, that as you would have seen in that Blackhawk, as far as the capabilities of the crew to see things. Now, I've been in some of those Blackhawks where there's been there's noises go off, collision alert. Of course, we work in very close tolerances, right? So you can hear them turn it off. So that would have probably been going off in that Blackhawk, a collision alert. And I would think maybe even the same thing with the aircraft. And that's how they're at the last second, they're probably the collision alert was going off and they're like, what? And they looked around and then they saw the Blackhawk coming in, because it probably would have blacked out. It looks like it had lights on, because I can see a flashing light as it's going across the sky. And then it comes in and just slams into at high speed and at the same altitude. Now, again, I've been in Blackhawks and they're extremely maneuverable, and you can almost stop them completely, even at high speed.
Why the U.S. Safety Commission wants to ban this baseball bat-shaped flashlight? Big retailers already banned this product from their stores. There's a revolution.
Nose up and really put the brakes on those things. So there was no maneuver at all the whole time. That helicopter went straight into the aircraft perfectly, almost like it was a kamikaze homing device on it. Somebody was able to see that. And guide the helicopter straight into that aircraft. That's my take on it. All right. Now, you could see, and very possibly will see, some people come out and try and counter that on purpose. And I don't know if they're really going to try and come out with the truth. It sounds like President Trump is trying to go the truth route, but there could be groups that will try and foil that. So, just recently we had President Trump come out with the JFK assassination files are supposed to be released. We know that's coming, and there's correlations with that. I'll tell you on this date.
Just hearing about another plane crash being reported in Philadelphia. It's coming up on my... Crashed into a mall, crashed into the ground.
At the moment, where do you need them? So, common is officer, and we push back. Charlie, Isaac 1 on the air. Isaac 1. Third bike X-ray has 40 officers where you want to deploy from.
You might not want to get on an airplane, anybody.
Let's go to the staging area. Go to the staging area. I can use a couple of bodies over here on the corner of the shopping center by the Korean barbecue. Third bike X-ray received. Have a few units go to the Korean barbecue. Have a few units over to the Korean.
Let me see if I can pull up a live feed we can put on.
I apologize, Bradford.
I'd like to know what kind of airplane it was.
Should be covered. Let's work on the next project. What do we got? All right, northbound and southbound Cottman is covered. Where else do you need units? Highway 37.
All right.
See about 3 vehicles for when we clear these alleyways to have a stationary officer to prevent people from going back.
I'm going to bring it up now.
Okay. Be on St. Vincent Street and Leonard right now. St. Vincent and Leonard, I got it. We'll just have the units come up St. Vincent and then hold the alleyway.
Naturally tender.
Going to be 1 block south of Coffin Street. Be on the south end of 7200 Rupert and 7200 St. Leonard. Okay, 7200 Leonard, 7200 Rupert, and 7200 Hanford. Is that covered also?
They're staying off of only about 100 feet, so nobody's running. There's firefighters walking nearby. So there must not be any danger of an explosion. The gas must be burning off from a gas line because they wouldn't allow firefighters to stand that close to a gas line. But this is definitely a gas line that's burning, and flames are shooting 10, 15, 20 feet into the air. And now here comes the black smoke again from this gas line, Jason.
Yeah, they're going to try to get that gas line off. In the meantime, they're probably searching for victims and trying to search each and every house and store there at Roosevelt Mall to make sure that everybody is okay. And this debris field, Steve, we're talking football fields, several football fields.
Gas line is spinning like a top, like a little tornado, and there's something sticking out of the ground. I don't know if that's a pipe, and I'm taking cover. I'm now at the Cane's chicken store, taking cover behind their doorway. I don't know if they're even open. I could go inside.
There's a Raising
And
Cane's there.
juicy.
Yeah, a lot of
Comes in
food places
Buffalo.
right there in LA Fitness. There's a gym. Keep yourself safe, obviously, and we're doing our best to bring viewers pictures, live pictures, as soon as we can of what we're seeing. What you're seeing right now, folks, is video that Steve took on his phone moments ago. Still very smoky and tough to breathe there.
Jason, I'm gonna get off the phone.
Okay.
I can feel the heat from this gas line fire.
Get out of there.
I'm gonna get off the phone, get you some new video, and get that right to you so we can illustrate to everybody what's going on here right now. Because this is a sight to behold. These flames are so big that they're lighting up the scene. That's why I'm able to see the house that was on fire, and I can see the firefighters up on the roof. And boy, they're doing a great job. There's hundreds of firefighters here. The gas workers team staying behind, and I guess they must realize that's just gas burning off, even though it's ignited. Must be no danger of an explosion here, or you would think they would clear everybody out of here right now. But there's so many people standing close to that, and then I see another smaller fire as I'm looking down Cutman Avenue, which probably is the remnants of whatever that truck or SUV was that's on fire.
And original, cooked crispy and golden.
Absolutely.
You can dip and dip,
All right, Steve,
and dip
thank you
some
very
more.
much. Let's go back to that doorbell camera video that we had from a viewer, and on the left
Our
side of your
always
screen,
cooked-to-order original
I posted
buffalo
this on
chicken
Twitter,
tenders
and
are
the
sure to
replies I'm getting
delight
from
with
everyone is
every
that
bite.
looks like a missile, and it sure does. Now, that doesn't mean that's what it is, but this angle, just the fireball that then ensues after the crash. If that is a plane, it was in a serious downfall at that moment. When you think of some of the planes that fly out of the Northeast Philly airport, there are some smaller Cessnas, there are some private jets as well. No jumbo jets, as you know, out of that airport. But just look at the fireball so you can see why the debris field is what it is in Northeast Philly at the Roosevelt Mall. This happening less than an hour ago, right as people are coming home from work. They're shopping
Looked
right
like
there.
a
It's
missile.
Friday evening. They may be going to dinner at this point. There's no word on any injuries, but it does not sound good. At the moment, Steve Keeley was telling us that there are several fires that are being fueled by underground gas lines, perhaps. Debris again from a plane. The debris again from a plane, and then from homes and cars that were in the area. Several fires burning, and Steve having a hard time breathing at points there. But again, just watching this video, that looks like it was a midair collision. I don't want to speculate, but some kind of breakup of a plane at that point. You just don't see fires burning. Planes come down like that in Northeast Philly very often. Back to the ground video from Steve Keeley. There's a Dunkin' Donuts right there, and you see fires burning. I don't know if that's a car. As we go over the fence here, I don't know if that's a car or home on fire in this little area. But there's several little fires like that burning as firefighters try to get the gas off, try to put the fires out, and try to figure out what's next. That
well,
looks like
that
an
was pretty
underground gas
wild,
fire
guys.
burning. And as Steve mentioned, hundreds of firefighters are on the scene here in Northeast Philly. We have been getting, our phones have been ringing off the hook here in our newsroom as people called to tell us what they saw and heard, and really out of nowhere, just a loud bang and an explosion from there. So it's really chaos at this moment here in Northeast Philly. Again, Cottman and Bustle.
All right, we'll come back to that story. Breaking out of Philadelphia. Said a small plane crash. Looked like a good-sized plane, but man, it was just plunging to the ground. It looked more like a missile strike to me. Let's go ahead and continue with our show here.
John F. Kennedy was shot. The time was 1 Eastern time. Of course, he was in Dallas, so that was 12 Central. But it was 1 Eastern time, 29 minutes after the hour. Now, 29 minutes, as Juan Oseva was telling me, and he actually was in a show with David Nino Rodriguez, and I think I have that clip. I'll play that clip here in a second. But he said that we have to be very aware, and he said this a while back, that chaos comes out on the 29th. They like to play that same number, 29, chaos. So I'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's look at this. So it looks like CNN was releasing, and it could be, who knows, it could be just a glitch. But it looks like FAA issues ground stop at Reagan National Airport after plane crashes in Potomac River. So that was like 6 hours ago, and it was 5 hours before the actual plane crash. So we know that in the JFK assassination, Australia released information that John F. Kennedy had been shot before he was shot because of different time zone. So somebody got the numbers mixed up because it's a different time zone. It's the same thing that happened on 9/11, where you had the BBC basically broadcasting a couple hours, I think, before it actually collapsed. Building 7 had collapsed, and it was literally the announcers. You could look behind them, and in the background was Building 7 still standing. So it seems like, the same stuff, guys. So these are the little things you look for when you look for a false flag, right? And I'm going to give you some more, and you're going to be like, wowzer, wowzer. So this is a woman who predicted this 16 hours before the actual crash. Now, some people do have, as you guys know, that I've been, successful in, seeing things well into the future. She seems to have picked this up 16 hours or so, at least, before the actual, attack, as she calls it. So we're going to listen to her.
I've been away for quite. Hi everyone. I've been away for quite a while, but I do have a couple of predictions for 2025. The first ones that I'm going to start with are to do with aviation. So I have 2 predictions regarding planes. The first one I get is a commercial plane. There's a lot of people on board and there's a lot of people affected by it. It's basically some sort of surprise attack on a commercial airplane. It's like, I keep getting the feeling that it's an inside job, as in that it's someone who is on board and inside the plane, or someone who works for the airline is somehow involved in this, or possibly an airport worker. The second thing that I keep getting from it is that it's a man-made disaster. So it's done intentionally. It's the plane's actually targeted.
So I don't know if you guys are getting this because I didn't share it. Here, let me go back and share it. You might be hearing it from my microphone. So let me actually play the video. Sorry.
Regarding planes. The first one I get is a commercial plane. There's a lot of people on board and there's a lot of people affected by it. It's basically some sort of surprise attack on a commercial airplane. It's like, I keep getting the feeling that it's an inside job, as in that it's someone who is on board and inside the plane, or someone who works for the airline is somehow involved in this, or possibly an airport worker. The second thing that I keep getting from it is that it's a man-made disaster. So it's done intentionally. It's the plane's actually targeted. It's not some sort of malfunction that happens. The second one is I'm seeing some sort of small plane, like military or private jet.
So that would be the helicopter. So sounds like she's getting that this is an inside job, taking down this aircraft, false flag. And there's military, there's a transportation plane and a military plane, or jet, as she says. So, you know, when you see things, you don't always get, you know, the full picture accurately, but she's pretty spot on for a lot of this stuff.
And it's got a very important couple on board. It's
now I don't know if it's an important couple. Maybe, you know, there was a Russian Olympic champion couple that was on there. They had been in Wichita, Kansas, where this plane came from, and I guess their son, fortunately, didn't get on the flight with them. He was at an event and was winning a skating contest. So that could be the important couple. Who knows? You know, they target people on purpose. I don't know why they would target this couple. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something out about that later.
I feel like one of them is connected somehow to technology, like there's some sort of business tycoon, if you like, and they're like
so it might not be the Russian couple, could be somebody else in there. All right, so so here's the Sikorsky Lockheed Martin Company Black Hawk helicopters that can fly without a pilot on board. So this is something that we've seen already, and let me see if I can find. There's like a specific one that I have. All right, I'm not finding it. So let me see. I think I have it in my X. Did I?
Bloated? It may be menopause belly.
Welcome to menopause. A slower metabolism is part of the change. This simply isn't true. I have women who go through menopause that gain weight, but it's not because of hormonal changes in estrogen. It's actually because their microbiome during menopause changes dramatically. The microbiome is responsible for making much of the hormones that drive our energy production.
A lot of people are surprised that most of our weight loss.
Post that one in another spot. Nope, I saved it somewhere else. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing it right now. Let me see. Maybe it's behind us, behind one of these windows I have open right now. Nope, I'm not seeing it. So anyway, there was a video, maybe I'll come across it at some point, that actually showed the helicopter being flown remotely in DC at an event. It was able to, as you see in this one right here, it had, there's no one on board, and there was like a cargo strap. That basically this helicopter came down. They were controlling it from like a, iPad or something looking thing, and it came down. It like came in fast, and then they like stopped it, like I was talking about, to basically the nose up, and it slows it down, and then they hovered it, lowered it down. It had the hookup strap. They hooked up something to it, and they lifted off and took it away. So they obviously can control this very, very well with remote control, and they demonstrated that, right? So there's that. Here's the actual route, because you guys saw that how it kind of like seemed to avoid the one aircraft that was coming in. I don't know which, this was probably runway 33 right here. Maybe this is runway 1. I don't know. So it looked like the aircraft was kind of avoiding the one plane, and then it lined up and basically got in position, and then came in at high speed and hit the next aircraft, as you saw in that that radar image, and also the voice log. So very very interesting on this. So here's another view of the aircraft. This is from looks like Reagan National Airport. So you see it here coming in at very, very high speed and taking that aircraft out. All right, so here's the one with Juan. Let's listen to this one.
About this 29 thing, it's the chaos. We're coming in through a very chaotic season.
Now I don't know when he did this. This looks like it's David Nino Rodriguez YouTube. I looked for this. I couldn't find it, this specific one. Now David, he basically will, like I used to do. He's very careful with staying on YouTube. He'll do a video and he'll have it up for a period of time, and then he deletes it. So that if they come in, they start looking through his stuff and they find something they don't like, they'll like give him a strike, take the video down, give him a strike. So he, like I used to do when I thought I was very smart. So I was able to avoid getting my videos taken down for a very long time. I went through 17 different channels. And now if anyone puts up, like I did a show with Michelle Melendez, who's basically talking about directed energy weapons in Lahaina. And she put the video that we did together up on YouTube, and they took it down. I don't think she got a strike for it, but if it just has my name on it, I can be talking about anything. I was on a show one time with a guy, and we're talking about crystal necklaces, and he got his whole channel taken down because he had me on there. I was like, sorry, dude. From that point on, I'm trying to tell everybody, don't put your stuff on YouTube with my name, and not even it doesn't matter. You put my name on it if they know me, so they have their little AI search going on constantly throughout everything, guys. So this is Juan. I don't know when they did the video, but somebody had this video clip. So they put it up. Elaine Stein. So good job putting this back up and sharing this. I asked Juan about this, and he said, because I looked for, I thought it might be the God of Destruction, the one that they have at CERN. And I looked for 29, and there's like in the 29th chapter, there's of some book, there's a mention of him. So I'm like, it's probably not it. So I kept looking. I got to like the goddess, a Greek goddess, and he confirmed that it is a Greek goddess. And on the 29th of every month, and I couldn't find this, but this is what he said. On the 29th of every month, you do like a little, offering to this goddess so that you don't have chaos in your life and you have very prosperous and happy life. There's gods and goddesses, throughout time, and some people still obviously worship them, right? So the goddess of chaos seems to be one of those things that the deep state likes to go by. So listen to what Juan says about this.
The goddess of chaos, her number is 29.
So then we got to be looking forward to the year 2029.
Well, that's another thing. That's why the stock market crash happened October 29th, 1929.
So the stock market crash, he said, of 1929, and that's why it happened.
Okay.
Well, let's get into that on the back channel.
And by the way, so people know, one last little piece that there is a component of that with 129. Remember, the Kennedy assassination happened at 12:29 in Dallas, but 1:29 in D.C. were all.
So you can see Nino like grimacing. It's like saying stuff that YouTube could possibly not like and get his channel taken down. So let's look at that. I'm pretty sure I have that one saved, hopefully. So let's see. Yeah, here it is. Timeline, minute by minute. So let me exit out of this one, and then I'll bring this one with Kennedy. So it was actually in that time frame that Juan mentioned. Some of the stuff that Juan brings up, I'm like, where do you get this stuff? I mean, it's like crazy with this information. So here it is, 12:29, which Central Time and Eastern Time would have been 1:29. So that crash happened on January 1/29. 29 was a date yesterday when this happened. Happened around 9 or something like that. So 1/29. And Kennedy was assassinated 1/29. So again, we have the JFK files that were just released. All of them are going to be released in the very near future. Trump signed the executive order for all the files to be released. And so is this kind of like a FU, a poke in the eye? If we're doing that? Very, very likely. So this is John F. Kennedy motorcade, as you guys see. Jackie is right there at his side. President limo turns onto Elm Street. The first shot is fired, missing the president. So they made the turn at 12:29. The first shot was fired, but it missed him. A fragment from the bullet or debris from the street hit James Togg, who is watching the motorcade in Dealey Plaza. A man is standing near the Stemmons freeway sign with an open umbrella, giving rise to the Umbrella Man conspiracy theory. So I've seen some other stuff on the umbrella stuff. It's basically a umbrella group, and they use that as a signal. So it's like
these may look like dentures or partials, but in fact, it's some of the newest dental implant technology, and you can get them at Nuvia Dental Implant Center. All the features of original teeth, but with even more benefits. Say goodbye to endless dentist office visits. No more missing or broken teeth. No more struggling to figure out what you can eat. At Nuvia, you can get it all done in only 24 hours. Click the link below.
Yeah, you're hot to fire, right? So somebody fired. I've had Ole Demigard on, and we have talked about there were many shooters on that day. And James Files, who's been on our show several times, and we've talked about several times, and who I'm in contact with as well, basically gave us the insight as much as he can on, his involvement on that day. So his involvement, they're all compartmentalized. So none of them know about what the other ones are doing. So that's pretty much where this is. And then it goes on. The second shot is fired. Third shot is fired, hitting the president on the back. Of course, it wasn't the back. It blew out the back. It came from the grassy knoll behind the fence. That's where James File was shooting with a pistol and with a long barrel, and it had mercury in the round, which basically was very, 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 very effective. And it basically, when it hits, it basically explodes. As you saw the back of his head explode. Now, there's some people that have been coming out that it was a squib. So, were there two different, because we didn't see the Zapruder film for many years later. And it's obviously, many experts have said it's doctored. So did they have like a stand-in get shot or some kind of clone thing that got shot? And who knows? And then they had another video of where they like play acted it. Maybe they had control of it. I don't know. So there's lots of questions on this. Will that part of it ever come out? I don't know. I don't think so. Or if it's that, or is that even real? So there's lots of questions on that. So it says Oswald, who is a patsy, who never fired a shot, but is supposedly in the book depository on the top floor with a rifle that would, you had to like load each round, eject each round, load another round, and then fire again. Absolutely impossible. And as we know from physics, if I smack you from behind, your head's going to go forward, right? Right. But for many people, they saw his head whip back and they're like, oh yeah, that was from him getting shot in the back of the head. Stupid, right? So there's all this stuff that's coming out. So we have to be on top of these false flags, and that's what we're trying to do right now, guys. We're trying to get on top of this false flag and not get misdirected into a bullshit, run at something that doesn't exist. All right, so this goddess of chaos. Let's look at that a little bit. All right, so here's the goddess of chaos, the Greek goddess of chaos. So I have to toggle through all these different windows, sorry. So Eris is the Greek goddess of chaos, strife, and discord. She's also known as Discordia in Roman mythology. So the Romans basically took all the Greek mythology and changed the names and made it their own, pretty much. Eris is known for throwing a golden apple. We know about that. The apples throughout time. Are you guys holding an Apple phone or Apple computer? So there's always this thing about these apples. Cinderella or Snow White, one of those. Always get them confused. One of those, ate the apple and fell asleep. So there's all this apple, this apple thing that happens. Eve took a bite of the apple and got smart and then got thrown out of the Garden of Eden. So interesting how they have this apple thing throughout all these different mythologies and so forth. Or is it mythology, right? So Eris, it's in Homer. Her companion is Ares, the god of war. And chaos is the Roman god of chaos. And then, of course, we have Mesopotamian goddess of chaos is Tiamat. And then you have like all kinds of goddesses and gods that are chaos and all kind of crazy stuff. So this is not something new, but it seems like some of these deep state bubbas like to play games with, the gods and goddesses of old, right? All right, so let's go back to go back to my X and kind of scroll through a few more things. All right, so there's that. There's the chaos, gods of chaos. Now, Juan also said that the way that Reagan Airport is made out is very Masonic. There's lots of Masonic symbolism in the Reagan Airport. And it looks like there is a Masonic star there, right? Satanic pentagram runway at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. So don't be surprised when there's also ritual sacrifices right over it. Yes. All right. So Donald Trump weighed in a little while ago. I watched that live. Very insightful. Says this is Shadow of Ezra. Donald Trump weighs in on the military helicopter and airplane crash, stating that it was the helicopter going straight at the airplane. He questions why the helicopter didn't move, noting the plane's lights were blazing. So he's helping everyone think about it, right? Trump also challenges the control tower, asking why they didn't direct the helicopter to avoid collision. So we heard they were trying to reach the helicopter, but the helicopter didn't respond, or the people that were on the helicopter didn't respond. I'm not saying that helicopter responded quite perfectly if you're controlling it, right? False flag. Is it a false flag? I say yes. So very, very interesting stuff. So another thing that Trump brought up was also the fact that the Biden administration, and I wasn't aware of this until he brought it up. Before Trump left, he was basically going to bring in new equipment for the control towers and so forth. It was going to be upgraded, completely upgraded. The Biden administration basically came in and they used the same equipment and had somebody that had that equipment there. Instead of getting better equipment, better upgrades, they kept the same people that had the equipment before, paid them a lot more money. Of course, this is the way the deep state works, money laundering. And then they started the DEI. So, and for people that should be the top of the best of the best, aircraft, tower controllers, aircraft tower controllers. So they started allowing people with disabilities to come in. Now, yeah, maybe disability if you have like you're like brilliant and you can come up and you're in a wheelchair. I don't know that you need to be up and moving around. I don't know, maybe, but it wasn't just that. It was like you could have dwarfism, which I don't know, maybe that doesn't mean anything either. If you can, still do the job, but they were like, if you had a mental handicap, really, and all.
You're not a child, you're a man. So stop wearing so many layers to go outside and get the bearskin tactical hood.
All kinds of stuff, guys. They're bringing in like not the best of the best. They were not bringing in, and this sounds like in a lot of, they're trying to destroy America from within through this DEI program, guys. And when Trump talked about that, I saw the scope of it. I was like, wow. And then, of course, you have the press come in and you have congressmen come in and say he should apologize to the American people for coming out with that, making that a political statement. No, I think that was fantastic. So as you see, guys, we still have work to do here. This looks like a false flag event to me. And from the stuff I've showed you guys, I think you will agree, but I'm not done yet. I'm not done. All right. And then you have the press doing their typical thing, come in and try and deflect and bullshit and lie and everything. It's like, God, It's like the same. It's like Trump 2.0 with the press guys, and it's Trump 2.0 with a lot of these congressmen and women that are coming out attacking him like they did before. I don't know how this gets fixed, but it's got to get fixed, right? It was a shit show today with those guys. All right, so now this aircraft, American Airlines, it's American Eagle. American Eagle. All right, remember that. Eagle. Who's going to the Super Bowl? The Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles. Where is what's the symbolism for America? The eagle. So symbolism. Remember, symbolism. They always have symbolism. It came from Wichita, Kansas. Who else is in the Super Bowl? The Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City. Kansas. The flight came from Kansas to Washington. All right. Who just recently lost to the Philadelphia Eagles? The Commanders, the Washington Commanders, who were in almost going to the Super Bowl, but they barely lost. Barely lost. Well, not barely. I'm looking at the score right now. It was 55 Eagles, 23 Commanders. The NFL Conference Championship. So the Eagles won. The Commanders. What were the Commanders before? They were the Washington Redskins. Who is going through the Super Bowl? The Chiefs. They still have their Indian motto, but they took out the Commanders with their Indian motto so that the Eagles could go. Now, let's go back in time, if you will, because this is where I started telling you guys, because I used to see it. Mockingbird Media, when I work for the CIA, I'm like a terrorist hunter, right? I work with case officers that are hunting terrorists, and I keep them safe. I move them around in these towns that are very sketchy, some of them very dangerous. Me and the teams I was with, and we found all kind of terrorists, right? Osama bin Laden was one of them, but there's many, many other terrorists that we found and are gone, right? So we learned that. I learned, and sitting in the car one time, so I would not just do the terrorist thing. Sometimes I would do other things because, hey, we're going to have you do this mission too. So there would be people in the car talking about sports events, Pakistan being specific, and how the Pakistanis and a lot of former British colonies, except for America, are really into cricket. I mean, it's like we love football like with a passion. The Pakistanis love their cricket 10 times more. It's crazy. And I watch their cricket games, and I'm like, that's so boring. But they get into it, and so that it is what it is. They love it, and I'm glad they love it. But it's compromised. Because we had a guy get in the car one time. I've told the story many times. Got a guy get in the car one time, says they're basically they know who's going to win, and they throw games. One side, some of the team mates know it's going to be thrown, so they make sure it's thrown, and the other side know it's going to be thrown, so they know they got to perform at their best. And so I heard that, and I was like, wow. And then I was amazed. I was like, oh, that's insider information. And then they put it out in the press. And I thought, oh, the Packies going to riot. They didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit. Just like I told you guys, all the way back in the Super Bowl of 2021. All right. So it was the Kansas City Chiefs against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Pirates. All right. So we know the deep state, they love the pirate theme. Disney. Yo ho ho, pirates like for me. All right. And we have maritime law throughout America. It's pirate law. All right. It's not common law. It's pirate law. It's not for we the people. It's for the pirates. All right. So anyway, I said, knowing what I know, I started looking at the Super Bowls, and I was like, guys, I'm looking at all the signs, and I can tell you right now that the Pirates are going to win over the Chiefs, because I saw Biden before he was president. He was sitting, they did a GQ shoot, and he was sitting on the back of a pickup or something, wagon, I don't know what it was, but there were Indian blankets spread out. He had his butt on them. I'm like, he's dissing those Indian blankets. And then they had at the Chiefs Stadium, they had the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs in a vehicle accident, kill a little girl. I was like, there's a sacrifice. Kansas City Chiefs are going to lose. Sacrifice, little girl sacrifice. And Biden, who's like top of the totem pole, is dissing the Chiefs, the Indians. They're going to lose. So then on top of that, we had Tom Brady and his buddy at New England Patriots come over, Rob Gronkowski. Seems like my buddy Tom Brady he came out of retirement and went over to I don't know if he came out of retirement, but he went over to, because I guess New England didn't want him anymore, so he's like, well, screw it, I'll go work for the Pirates. And so he goes over to the Pirates, and then Gronkowski is like, hey, I'm coming out of retirement and I'm going to work with my buddy. So I'm telling everybody before the game, I'm like, all right, the Pirates going to win the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady, who's been MVP before, is going to be MVP again. And he was. And I won a lot of money because I said, look, guys, I'm going to put money where my mouth is. It was the last time. I don't even watch football anymore. I know it's rigged. And I'm not going to drink beer and eat a hot dog and say, I know it's rigged, but I want to watch it.
Military gadgets are transforming people's conditions and endurance, and here's how. This is what happens when you breathe in more oxygen, and this military gadget makes it possible. It vibrates lung mucus away instantly, increasing your oxygen intake and giving you a super boost in life. Best of all, it is completely drug-free and reusable. It was specifically designed for Special Forces divers to increase their oxygen intake so they not only think clearer, faster, and better, but also dive longer, swim greater lengths, and give their all in extreme conditions. Through no fault of your own, our modern lifestyle creates a surplus of lung mucus. It builds up over time and decreases oxygen intake.
Screw that. I don't like bullshit. Right? It's not true anymore to me. I used to play football. I was going to go like into college and play football. They're like, we want you to go. We're going to give you a scholarship, and you're going to be a pro someday. Because I was good. I was the fastest guy at my school at the top school in my area in Columbia, South Carolina, and I blasted through lines, right? So like, we're gonna make you a star, and I'm like, Navy SEAL, college, Navy SEAL. So and that's what I did. So I've always loved football, but once I learned that it's all rigged, all of us are like, how can he throw that game? We're arguing. It's like, oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And, but we're like, you guys won. You shouldn't have won, but you won anyway. The ref threw the game. And could you see, like, he could have caught that ball. It was like right in his hands and he dropped it. It's like, God, he threw the game. What the? So we know this stuff goes on. Even Babe Ruth was convicted of throwing games, baseball. The Babe Ruth, the most popular sports guy in history, everybody knows Babe Ruth's name, convicted of throwing games and gambling, getting paid to like throw games. So it's been going on for a long time. All right, so I called it. It happened, and now here we have it again. We have the Chiefs back again. Because these guys don't do things normal. It's always multitask for these guys. When they do something like crash a helicopter, which they've commandeered into an aircraft and kill all those innocent people, maybe there's somebody on that plane that they wanted to target. We know they do this stuff. We've talked about this many times, guys. Many people over time that have been killed on trains, in aircraft, on ships like the Titanic, all these different, people that have been killed just for a few people, maybe one person or a few people, they kill dozens or hundreds or thousands just to get at one person. And that's a cover because everybody's crying. It's like, it's the pilot's fault or this person's fault. And we see that all the time. They're going to blame somebody. Somebody's going to get blamed. Somebody will be blamed, and they're probably innocent. But they will go down in history as being shitbag, wrongly. Happens all the time. All the time. All right, so multiple things. So I would have to say that just based on the sacrifice that just happened, in Kansas City, is Kansas City going to lose because they get sacrificed again? All right. So you need to look at that. So you guys who like to bet, you don't care. You don't care if people were killed. You don't care if the games are thrown. You don't care. You don't care. It's sad. It's very sad because that's why it continues. That's why we just saw that crash happen. Because you don't care. You don't believe it. I don't believe it, Mike. I don't believe it. I could probably go over into the chat and see, because I've already seen it before I even started the show. Some bullshit started coming out. I put the title up, and somebody came in right after I put it up and gave me a thumbs down. Are you going to listen to the program before you made a thumbs down? So the trolls are everywhere. And then there's compromised intellect people everywhere, right? All right, so I'm not even going to look. I mean, I could probably dig deeper and go, yep, it's the Commanders definitely going to win. Not the Commanders, but the Eagles are definitely going to win, or the Chiefs are going to win. Who knows? But knowing how they have some kind of thing against the Indians, they took over this land. This land is my land. This land is not Indian land. Of course, they have their reservations. But they'll come in and work those reservations, even though it's supposed to be Indian land. They'll come in and, liquor all the Indians up and, say, hey, we're going to drill here. There's nothing you can do about it. All right. But the Indians have kind of had the last laugh. So they've been building casinos on their land and making a lot of money. I don't know if that's helped them or not. It's probably white men in past lives that are reincarnating as Indians, I think. So, well, it's crazy. It's a crazy system. But when you understand it and you can see through it, it's not so crazy anymore. It's very, you can calculate it. You can see, how these guys work their games, how they come in and, kill people. To them, they get off. They get off on being monsters, right? Monsters Inc., Monsters Incorporated. That's a deep state. Yeah, they'll they'll kill as many people as they need. And then the people that work for them that think they're good, like P. Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, they think they're safe. Hillary Clinton, I'm safe. I've done so much for the deep state. They'll protect me. They'll throw you under the bus. You could be on the Titanic, and they could be on the Titanic, and they would throw your ass off because they were like, okay, throw Hillary off because it'll give us a few more seconds to live because it won't be so much weight, and it won't sink as fast. And then maybe we can figure something out. Maybe we can get on one of those boats. We can dress as women and get on one of those boats, one of those lifeboats, and push away and come back and haunt these guys another day. And then go to, where's that one place that they had in Georgia? Jekyll Island. Let's go meet there after all these people are dead. And we're like, okay, we eliminated all the people that would say no to the Federal Reserve. So who do we need to get on our side? Who we need to pay? Congressman so-and-so. Yep. So on Christmas, day before Christmas, everybody's on leave. We'll just have just enough people to get the bill through. They'll be our people, and they'll vote it through. And of course, we control the president, so he'll sign it through, and then we'll control America. We'll control America through our money, right? So, and that's where we're at. So we have President Trump trying to go after that, the IRS trying to shut that down. Stop paying federal taxes. Right? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. The IRS is dead, and Trump is going to make that an absolute, and he's probably going to do away with the Federal Reserve. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, look at this aircraft getting taken out right there in Washington D.C., right in front of everybody, taking over a military aircraft. God bless that crew. Hopefully those guys weren't involved in any way, but that's very sad. Everybody's expendable. Everyone, right? Even their top people, everyone is expendable, right? All right, guys, we have to just watch and see how this plays out. If they're going to try and spin this as, it was pilot error, or the person in the DEI program, basically, they put somebody in that was probably not up to speed on purpose so that they could blame them. It's like, we need this person to be put into this position on this night at this time. And they're going to royally screw up because they don't have the mental capacity. And Trump was pointing it out. It sounds like whoever was there in that tower may have some problems, and they couldn't handle the situation. And that was part of the Biden administration's, putting people. And now Trump said that, it's still safe. We still have the safest airline business in the world. Okay. Trust your intuition. All right. Trust your intuition. Because I guarantee you there's some people that didn't get on that flight. Guarantee. Probably one or two people that were supposed to be on that flight. I know people like that were on 9/11. They didn't get on. They didn't get on that flight. I know them. One of the women that was supposed to be on that flight was she did my past life regression. So Rebecca Shaw. So she was supposed to be on one of those flights, and she's like, I'm not supposed to be on that flight. So she didn't get on that flight. Good for her. Good for me, because I got some good past life regression work. Okay, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, because they don't want us in that. It's very, very powerful. So few of you understand that still. Still a lot of work to do. All right, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, everybody. I don't know. Maybe we do have a lot of work to do. Maybe
the
not.
non-lethal
Just
self-defense
depends.
platform, lightweight and simple to use. It uses an
It would
easy-to-load
be nice
5-round.
to see more positivity. I do still see a lot of people arguing about the issues that don't matter so much. What he was talking about there with the airplanes was interesting, with the Kansas City Chiefs and the plane coming out of Wichita. There's been a lot of posts lately pointing out the Hunt family. And then, if you notice, during the Senate hearing, confirmation hearings, they've been wearing these red and gold ties, like Senator Kennedy and stuff, kind of pointing out the colors. I don't know what the tie-in is there, but maybe that was who was being targeted. I don't know. Now, whatever happened tonight, we can jump over and take a quick look at that again, if it's still going. They say it was a small plane. It didn't look so small to me, but I could be wrong. I guess the question becomes the same either way. Who was on that small airplane, and why did it take a nosedive like that? Let's see if they're still going.
We're learning, as you are here, about what kind of plane crashed, and I just wish I could tell you about the folks on the ground. There was a home on fire. There was an issue with underground gas lines and fires burning. Cars were on fire, and so with the chaos going on, all we can say is we're on it, and as soon as we can bring you information on injuries or worse. Let's pray that's not the case, but when you talk about a populated area here at rush hour, you know,
it couldn't have happened at a worse time.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was the height of rush hour. So many people. It's such a busy area of the city to have this happen at that time in this horrible weather, and right after we just had this horrific mid-air plane crash in Washington, D.C. And as I mentioned earlier, Councilman Mike Driscoll from Philadelphia releasing a statement, and as part of that statement, he said that there were reported mass casualties. Of course, everything is preliminary, and we'll be learning more as the evening progresses. But let's get out to our Shawnette Wilson. Shawnette, where are you, and what have you learned?
So, Dawn, we just got here a little while ago. We are at Bustleton and Cottman, and I'll step out of the way here. This is much of what you've been seeing all night through Steve Keeley's video and the other video that viewers have been sending. Emergency crews just as far as the eyes can see. We're talking, of course, about fire trucks, police cars. We just saw PECO. PECO's actually coming right behind us right now, the water department. And actually, you know, we just saw a little bit ago as well, police bringing in some of those barricades, the road barricades that, you know, we usually see that we saw during the last NFC Championship game that'll be out for the Super Bowl. They are putting those up around this area as well, because a lot of people have come out to try to figure out exactly what's happening here and what is going on. And it's not just people who really want to just look and take pictures, as much as that's a big help, because they've been sending that video to us. One lady walked by. She had on scrubs. She was with someone who had a blanket wrapped around her, and she went up to the middle of, as far as she could go down this way. And I asked her, I said, "Are you good?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm a nurse. I just wanted to go and see if anybody needed help." So as much as we talk about it is cold, it is raining, police are trying to keep people safe and as far back as they can. There are some people out here who just have heard what happened involving this plane and what we reported as a medical flight, and their, you know, their jobs and their instincts have kicked in. They just want to come out here and see if there's anyone that they can help. We've been talking, I was listening on the ride here about whether there have been people on the ground who may have been injured in some way from this plane debris, which, as far as I know, we don't have any information on that just yet. But again, people are out just trying to see if things are okay, if people are okay who are out here.
Shawnette,
so it's just
let me stop you for just a moment, and then
Sure.
I'll let you continue. But folks, if you're just tuning in for a basketball game on Fox, Indiana-Purdue here, that's supposed to start right now, we're staying with this breaking news story in light of this disaster in Northeast Philadelphia. We are staying here with this local urgent news story here, and so I just wanted to pass that along to you. If you're just joining us to watch that basketball game, we are going to stay with this for the time being, and if you want to see that basketball game, I guess you'll have to check your local listings. It might be on another network. We'll let you know, but we're going to stay with this, Sean.
Obviously, people have to understand this is something
Absolutely.
just very traumatic that we're trying to get information out about tonight. People affected by this, people who have seen that video is being shared on social media.
All right,
this,
well,
kind of like fireball or explosion in the air. It brings people out to try
there
to
you
get some answers
go.
about what happened here. I heard Fred TC mentioning.
I'd say whoever was in that plane didn't survive the speed it was going. It looked like a meteorite in that video we saw. It just went straight to the ground. But if no one was hurt on the ground, that's good news at least. So other than that, guys, that's all I got for tonight. I know it's a little early. If anything else comes on tonight, I might come back tonight. Who knows? I might come on early tomorrow, something like that. Don't forget, though, that there's a good chance I'll be on my other channel tomorrow if it's back from being unsuspended. So follow us over there if you would. And yeah, we'll keep looking at things. We're waiting on the confirmation hearings. Other than that, things have kind of slowed down a little bit, but that's maybe nice to have a little break because things during the week have been pretty fast-paced. This week went pretty quick, I have to say. I have a feeling next week will go even faster. It's hard for people to keep up with this stuff, but everyone's trying their best. Here in the next few days to a week or so, we should hear what the plan for releasing the rest of the Kennedy files are. And then I think the other files we still have some time on, but there's a lot of other things to wait. I haven't seen any other Catherine Herridge videos from Guantanamo yet, so we'll look for those. We're always looking for everything, guys, so don't forget to follow us over there. Other than that, I'm going to let you go for now, so you can go have some fun and surround yourself with some positivity. Get away from politics for a little while. That's what I'm going to do. Unless something bad happens, and then I'll be back on here talking about it. I'm not that kind of news. I like news. Be nice to do news we could really, really trust and stuff like that, but who knows? We're getting there. We're getting there slowly, as nobody's watching MSNBC anymore or CNN, so that's good. But yeah, you guys go have some fun. God bless you for being here. I'll see you again later.
Are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Mr. Kennedy, I believe for such a time as this that you're not just one of 300 million people. I think that you are the person to lead HHS to make America healthy again, that God has a divine purpose for you, and I look forward to your confirmation and working with you to make America healthy again.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Before we go to leave. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, what do you want?
I love this guy. Mr. Chairman, I'm unlike Senator Tillis. I mean, if we're going to start this, I want an extra 3 minutes.
Well,
now, my friend Senator Klobuchar went 3 minutes over.
So, here what you're saying is the chairman wasn't a very good chairman by not shutting her up. But I've gone through this before, and I think I know how to handle it.
I think you're a star-spangled awesome chairman.
Promoting the QAnon movement. My colleagues have already asked your future boss, Mr. Bondi, many questions about this. I think it's easy to see these attacks for what they are, guilt by association. Are you a follower or promoter of QAnon?
No, Senator. In fact, I have publicly, including in the interviews provided to this committee, rejected outright QAnon baseless conspiracy theories or any other baseless conspiracy theories. They must be addressed head on with the truth, and I will continue to do that. And I will always continue to support Americans who support law enforcement, our military, and want a secure border.
Communicate interplanetary hyperspace. Open up your mind. Q will answer questions anytime. Feel the gravity moving to a new reality. Open up your mind. You will send your thoughts throughout time. Let's communicate interplanetary hyperspace. Open up your mind. You will answer questions anytime. Feel the gravity moving to a new reality. Open up your mind. You will send your thoughts throughout time. Let's communicate. Let's communicate.
if you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
My colleague and friend Senator Durbin called you a conspiracy theorist. You remember that?
I do, Senator.
You were instrumental in revealing that the Trump-Russia election collusion hoax was a hoax, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was a lead investigator.
Sounds to me like we need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Facts matter, Senator.
Yeah. I mean, conspiracy theorists are up something like 37-0.
America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens.
God bless President Trump. God bless America.